Another student admitting. Okay, welcome everybody to the Study Abroad in Spain information session this afternoon. We're very happy to have you here. My name is Kim Burton. I'm one of the advisors in the office, and I did study abroad for a full year in Madrid when I was a student, and I've been working in study abroad ever since. So to show you the impact that that experience had on my life, this became a career, advising other students to be able to have the same opportunity. So I'm very grateful to have had that experience as a student and to have been able to share it with so many other students through all of these years. And now it's your turn. So we're here today to help you, help enable you to get to study in the amazing country of Spain. I'm very excited today to say that we're joined by my colleague, Rachel Ogletree, who is the academic specialist for all of the Spain programs at UCEAP. And just to clarify the structure a little bit for all of you, UCEAP has a main office, and it happens to be physically in Santa Barbara. And so the main office actually runs all of the programs as they happen, and they will be working with you once you're selected to a program. You will be getting all of your pre-departure information from them and working with them as you prepare to go abroad, and then while you're abroad, and in some cases even upon return. So you'll be working with us on the campus and with UCEAP, and obviously with the staffs abroad throughout the process. So just to give you a little bit of background, but Rachel very kindly offered to help with the session today, and I know we're all, myself included, going to learn a lot from her. So I'm going to talk about a few general things beforehand and some other programs in Spain, and then leave the bulk of the session for Rachel, and then we'll have time at the end for your questions. So let's see if the slides will move forward. There we go. All right, let me admit another student here. Just a few things to remember is you can satisfy degree requirements through study abroad, and most students do that. They want to do that. It may be major, minor, college, gen ed requirements. That's up to you, but you are able to do that depending on the courses that you take. And there is an academic planning form and a process that's part of our process here on the campus that you will be doing usually after you're selected to your program. You certainly can start talking with advisors now, but usually they'll want to talk with you later in the process. So usually winter, spring is when you would do academic planning with them if you're looking at a summer or fall program. We do want you to plan ahead and be flexible. So the fact that you're here today, it's early in the year, early in the process, you are planning ahead, so that's great. And do be flexible. If your first choice program doesn't work for you, there are other amazing programs in Spain that might work for you. And again, Rachel and I and others can help you, figure that out. That's why we're all here. So just thinking about all of those options that may be possible for you is a good way to approach it. And then the majority of our students are financial aid recipients who participate on study abroad. You can use financial aid, and I'm going to talk about that a little bit more in a slide coming up. And one of the other amazing things is that we're only one of 3 UC campuses. We actually have a designated study abroad advisor in our financial aid office. His name is Eduardo, and he's fantastic. And you will be able to meet with him at some point. He can do an estimate for you for your program abroad. And help you with your financial planning. So again, we're really lucky to have Eduardo with us as well. All right, I just want to talk briefly about the different kind of program types that we offer our students here for Spain. So the global seminars, these are, and I'll be talking about those in just a second. Global seminars are UCSD faculty taking small groups of students abroad in the summer, UCSD faculty taking small groups of students abroad to earn UCSD credit. And so they're different. They're not at a university the way that UCEAP programs are. It's a different program structure. And then with UCEAP, you'll also hear from Rachel, there are some different, again, program structures, but they're all pretty much at universities. But with both of these programs, you'll be earning UC credit for the work, which means that you pay UC tuition to UCSD for global seminars, to UCEAP for EAP programs, because you are getting UC credit. And all of the courses and the grades that you take on both of these programs will appear on your UC transcript. The grades are averaged into your UC GPA because, again, you are earning UC credit. You can see here the information we have about the application process. And so for global seminars, their applications will open November 1st, close on March 1st, although they have an early deadline every year of February 1. And you want to make sure that those are done on rolling admission, and the minimum number of students for those programs is 15, maximum is 28. So they are small course sizes. And you will do just the one application in the Triton's Abroad database if you're going to apply to a global seminar. For UCAP, it's a bit more complicated because there are more programs to choose from. And so there are a lot of the programs are rolling admission. The EAP applications will open on November 14th for summer programs, and then on November 20th for fall and year programs. And the capacity for programs does vary. And I don't know, maybe if that's information Rachel might have, but if not, we can get you that if that's an issue for you. For UCAP, you need to do 2 applications. You will do the Triton's Abroad application, and that's currently open. And that's our database where we get information about you and which program you're choosing to apply to. And then you'll also do the EAP application in their portal, again, on those open dates. And that's so they have the information on you, because unfortunately, the 2 databases don't speak to each other. So you'll need to do the application in both places, but they're not complicated applications, particularly the Triton's Abroad one. It's going to pull all of your basic information in from the main UCSD computer. So all you're going to do is go in and say, I'm applying to this UCEAP program for this term, and you're going to accept some basic policy, read through policy things that are on there that we need to make you aware of, and basically accept all of those and submit it. And that's the Triton's Abroad application. It doesn't take very long to do. The UCEAP applications also vary with what's required, but again, they're not complicated applications. So don't panic. It's not like you're doing 2 UC applications, not anywhere near that complicated. The one note about EAP over on the left is that students are only allowed to apply to 1 program for the same term. So you cannot apply to 2 UCAP summer programs, hedging your bets or not. If you're not sure which one you want to do, you'll need to make a decision and apply to 1. You may have the option later to switch if you decided you wanted to, but just know that. You certainly could apply to a global seminar and to a UCEAP program for summer, and then make a decision later as to which one you wanted to do. Sorry. So you can do that, but within EAP, you cannot apply to 2 programs for the same term. We also have our global exchange, which is different programs, and there's just 1 in Spain, and I'll talk about that in a second. Sorry, I'm like having a coughing attack. Sorry. Pick my slides. There we go. All right. In terms of finances, generally speaking, if you're going abroad during the academic year, that is the year financial aid box there on the left. All financial aid that's available to students during the academic year here at UCSD is available to you. So including Cal Grant, Pell Grant, institutional aid, which is UCSD grant that they have, the financial aid office has money, and then loans. So when you choose if you choose a UCAP program, then your aid will be adjusted to match the budget of that program. Sometimes students will say, well, can I use all my aid? Can all of that go with me? Yes, but please note, loans are part of financial aid. So please do not misunderstand me. It is the very rare student who would ever get all of their budget for EAP covered by grant money. Sometimes there are students who do get study abroad scholarships, and we'll talk about those briefly, and that would reduce the loan. But I usually tell students to plan on having some loan in your aid package for EAP. And if it turns out you get lots of scholarships, or you have savings, or your family can help you so you don't have to borrow, that's fantastic. But most students are going to have loan in the package that's offered you for study abroad. For summer aid, there's less aid in general, as you can see here from the bullet points, whether you're going to stay here at UCSD or whether you're going to go abroad. There's no difference in summer aid as to what you're doing. Study abroad doesn't make a difference to that. So there's only Pell Grant in summer. There's no Cal Grant in summer. California doesn't provide it to the campuses because it's really not a regular term of the the UC academic year. So that's why it's not available. There is UCSD grant, which is the same as that institutional aid and the year box. So that's another source of grant money that we do fund a lot of our summer participants with. And then any loan, any unused loan you might have from the prior academic year. So that would be this current academic year if you're going in summer of 2025. So those are the sources of funds available for summer. Again, whether you stay here at UCSD or you're going abroad. The maximum amounts for the Pell and UCSD grant the last couple of summers has been about $2,000. And again, that would depend on your own eligibility per the FAFSA form. So the most grant money students were getting for summer is about $4,000. Most summer programs are going to be 10, 12, even higher, $1,000. So you can see that's where loans would kick in, or if you're able to get scholarships or you have your own funds. So summer actually is a more challenging time financially for students to go abroad, yet it is the most popular term for our students to go abroad, for other reasons. Obviously, it's not impacting or infringing on the academic year and the courses you need to take, etc. But it's not the most financially effective time to study abroad. So just be aware of that as you're thinking and planning through all of this. Again, we're very fortunate to have Eduardo, our financial aid advisor. You can see the link. He's created information on the link you see here on the financial aid page itself, actually, the financial aid office page. And then Eduardo's also available at our drop-ins on Friday mornings between 10 and 11:30. And you can find that information on our website, which is studyabroad.ucsd.edu. And you can also send him an email at the address that's there. Even if you're going to be a global seminar student, you can use that FAO-EAP address. It's not specific to UCAP, it's specific to Eduardo. We do have a number of study abroad scholarships our students can apply for. Some are provided by the campus, some are nationals. UCAP has a lot of scholarship money, and we will have more information about the scholarships as we get further into the academic year. Eduardo is also doing financial aid and scholarships information sessions, and those are on our website as well. And then we usually help students winter quarter with essay writing resources for the scholarships. So let us help you. That is one of the things that we do. All right, very quickly, just wanted to mention with the global seminars, there are two for summer 2025. You can see two amazing locations, Barcelona and Granada. If you're interested in these, I would suggest you go to the website, which is globalseminar.ucsd.edu, and all of the program details, the syllabi, everything is already posted. One of the cool things about global seminars is they will do these meet the professor information sessions, and they start next week. And so you can actually see the dates of the sessions, and it's so amazing to listen to the faculty here, our amazing faculty, talk about them, what they're going to do, taking you abroad to study, what you're going to learn, what you're going to see, where they're going to take you. It's just very exciting and invigorating to listen to them talk about what that program will be like. So I really encourage you, if you're interested in global seminars, to definitely attend those sessions. And you can, at this point, consider, global seminars, EAP, and make a decision later. So you have lots of amazing options to choose from. And then the one global exchange program we have is actually in Pamplona, but it is specifically for engineering majors, as you can see there in the eligibility, and also for students who are juniors and seniors. So it's not going to work for most of you unless you are engineers. But if you are, it's definitely something to consider. All right, Rachel, at this point, I'm going to turn the session over to you and let you take it away with UCAP.
Excellent. Thanks, Kim.
Sure.
Yeah, so as Kim mentioned, I work at the UCEAP system-wide office in Goleta, California, right near the UCSB campus. So we offer 11 total programs in Spain. So 5 of those are programs that are in the fall, spring, or year, and 6 of those are summer programs. And they are in Barcelona, Madrid, and Alicante. And you can find out more information about the programs by visiting the website. You can see the link here on this page. It's uceap.universityofcalifornia.edu. Each of the programs does have its own set of unique eligibility requirements. So you can visit the individual program web pages to find out more information about the programs, including eligibility requirements. Why don't you go ahead, Kim?
Okay, slides aren't advancing. Sorry, I was trying and it wasn't moving.
No problem.
There you go. Sorry.
Perfect.
Sorry.
All right. No worries, Kim. So these are the programs that UCEAP offers during the fall, spring, and academic year. And they are the University of Barcelona, Carlos III, which is in Madrid, and then the Complutense University of Madrid. Each of them has slightly different time periods when you can be abroad, and you can see that at the bottom of each program here on the slide. And they all have generally the same eligibility requirements. You must be a sophomore or higher and 2.75 GPA or greater in terms of eligibility. We don't have any max capacity on these programs, but they are quite popular. So once the applications open in November, you can expect that a lot of students will be interested in these programs. So basically what these programs are like is we refer to them as immersion programs. And that just means that you are going to have an experience where you are like a local degree seeking student. So you're going to enroll in courses at the host university. You're going to be taking courses with local students. And it's also just a really great opportunity to learn the Spanish language. Now, one thing to keep in mind with all of these programs is that you will be responsible for arranging your own housing, but because we work with so many students who go abroad on these programs, we have designed a really great resource for you to look through to find your own housing. And plus, there are so many other students that you'll be on the program with that you can connect with and maybe try to find housing together. Um, and then you can see in the bottom right corner here, just something to be aware of is these programs are a great opportunity because there is no language requirement in order to be able to be eligible for the program. So you don't need a certain number of quarters of Spanish to participate. But if you're looking for coursework in English, these programs do have limited coursework in English, and it does vary by department. So you will want to look at the various web pages to determine what the coursework in English or just coursework in general availability is for you. So we can go to the next slide. All right. So we actually have two brand new programs opening in academic year 25-26, which means that their applications are going to be opening this November. The first one is Business in Barcelona. So this is, as the name implies, a business-focused program. We've designed it for UCEAP students. So UCSD and other UC campus students would be your classmates in the courses on this program. And most of the courses are focused on business. You'll also be able to take Spanish language, that sort of thing. The other program is the University of Alicante. And like the three universities that we talked about on the previous slide, you will have that what we call immersion program, where you'll take enrolling courses at the host university, and you'll take courses alongside local students. So we're really excited about both of these programs, Business in Barcelona, because this is really the best opportunity if you want to be in Barcelona and you want to take business courses. This is really going to be your best option. And then University of Alicante, because this is the only program that UCEAP offers outside of Barcelona and Madrid. And Alicante is a beautiful, it's right on the coastal city. It's college size, really friendly and walkable. So it's fantastic. And just a quick note, we don't quite yet have the web pages up, but they are coming soon. So you'll be able to see further information about those programs soon.
Thanks, Rachel. I just wanted to add, well, first, full disclosure, students, that's not a picture of the University of Alicante. I told Rachel I was afraid to change the photo, so otherwise it would mess up the whole presentation. But I actually spent New Year's, the year I was in Spain, in Alicante. And it really is amazing, you know, on the Mediterranean coast. It's beautiful. It's about halfway between Valencia and the cities in the south. and is really beautiful. So similar to San Diego in a lot of ways with the coastal experience. But a really great option if you really don't want to be in the larger cities, but still have them accessible by by train very quickly. So just wanted to put in
Definitely.
a plug for Alicante.
Yeah, I love that. Thanks, Kim.
Come on. Okay.
All right. So I just want to touch on the academics for these programs because they can be a little bit tricky. Like I mentioned before, that certain schools, some of the universities on the previous slides, they offer certain degrees. Some offer some degrees, some offer, other degrees. So it can be a bit of a mixed bag, and that's why it's really important that you review the academic pages for each of the universities. And we've linked here the to the academic information for the University of Barcelona, Carlos III, and Complutense at the bottom here. You can go directly to those pages. I've tried my best to include as much academic information, and that also includes links directly to the host institution website, so you can look around. And I will say that while some of the pages are in Spanish and maybe not so easy to navigate, at the very least, there is course information available on there for you to find, and I've done my best to try to help you be able to locate that information. So let's see. So if you do want courses in English, I have again tried to outline which uh, degrees have coursework available in English, how you can find that course information. So that's a good place to start. And then in terms of taking coursework in Spanish, um, you will need to have a certain minimum level of Spanish in order to take coursework taught in Spanish. And you will pre-departure take a placement exam to determine your level of Spanish. So if you've been studying Spanish language, that's amazing. You'll be able to take that placement exam ahead of time. Maybe if it's been a little while since you've taken Spanish, just brush up a little bit and make sure you're ready to go, and that should be fine. And then if you want to actually study Spanish language, all three of these universities offer a great opportunity for you to take coursework to really study the language of Spain, where you're going to be living. So um, that that's kind of a quick overview of the academics. It's really important for you to do your homework on this to make sure that it's going to work for you. All right, Kim. All right, so in terms of summer programs, we've got 6 in Spain. 3 of them are located in Barcelona, and those are the 3 you see on the slide here. You'll see they all have slightly similar names. There's UAB Barcelona Summer School, UPF Barcelona International Summer School, and then UB Barcelona Summer School. So they are offered at 3 different universities around Barcelona. The Autonomous University of Barcelona, just for transparency, is located about 30 minutes by light rail outside of the city, up in the mountains away from the coast. And I would say the biggest difference between these 3 programs, they're all really fantastic opportunity to get to spend time in Spain over a summer, if that's when it's going to work best for you to be abroad. But the biggest difference is the coursework that's going to be available on these programs. So they offer a really mixed variety, broad range of classes, and each program is slightly different. So again, if Barcelona in the summer is where you want to be, you should look through each of these programs individually to see if there's coursework that you think would work best for you. One other slight difference between these programs is the duration of the program. So as you can see on this slide, the UAB program, the first one on the left, that goes from mid-June to late July, so 6 weeks. UPF, the middle program, is the shortest. It's 4 weeks from late June to late July. And then the UB program is also 6 weeks, mid-June to late July. And one final note, the UAB program on the left, it is a limited capacity program. So if this is the program that you feel is the right fit for you, definitely apply as soon as possible. All right, so our remaining 3 summer programs are all located in Madrid. The first one is Spanish in Madrid. And as the name implies, the focus of this program is learning Spanish language. So you would take one Spanish language course, you would take a placement test prior to the start of the program to determine your Spanish level. And this program is really designed for folks who are at the beginner or intermediate level of Spanish. So you take that placement exam, determine your level. You take the Spanish language course when you're on site, plus a Spanish culture and society type of course. It is quite intensive. It's over the course of a little over 6 weeks, with a lot of great field trips and activities involved as well. Now, data science and Python is designed for students who are even at a beginner level of these courses. The two courses are basic courses, so they're assuming that you have little to no background knowledge within these areas. So you would be taking courses with other UCEAP participants on this program. And the great thing about the data science course in particular is you're going to be connected with one of the local tech companies, businesses within Madrid, and you're going to work with them to design a data science project. So you're going to work on it, gathering the data, pulling it together, analyzing it, and they're going to help you with your final product. So it's a really great opportunity to get that data science experience in real time. Both of the courses are taught in English, which is also great. So there's no language requirement for this program. And then the final program is Engineering Research in Madrid, which is taught at the Carlos III University. You recognize that name. It's the university that we offer for the fall and spring program. So we work with them on this summer program. And basically, you will share with us pre-departure an area within engineering that interests you. We'll provide you a list of what's available. You can see that on the website as well to see what research groups are available at C3. And then the engineering school will work to match you with a research group so that when you get on site, you're going to be working with the professor who oversees the research group and all of the other folks who are involved in the research group. And then in addition to the actual research course, you're going to take an ethics and engineering course as well. All of the coursework is taught in English. If you do have sufficient Spanish language abilities, you can do the research placement in Spanish as well. So with this program too, there is a limited capacity, so you would just need to make sure that you apply early to reserve a spot for yourself. All right, Kim, I think I need to hand it back to you in order to finish this slide.
Thank you so much, Rachel. Really appreciate it. And are you able to stick around for Q&A?
Absolutely, yes.
Awesome. If you're willing to get into the chat and take a look while I wrap it up, it might be we could maybe consolidate or something.
Yep.
If you're willing, that'd be great. Okay.
Sure.
Thank you so much. So in terms of other options, we do send students on other independent programs that are not run by the University of California, or maybe you find like UC Davis runs summer programs, UCLA runs summer programs. So maybe you find a program through another UC campus, as it says here on the right. We do have students who do this every year, but we do send students every year to Spain on programs that are not run by UC. The programs that we've talked about so far. And so there are independent study abroad providers, organizations that run programs, and there can be different reasons why students choose other programs. Sometimes they just miss the EAP deadlines and it's too late and we're not able to get students in. Other times, maybe a student wants to be in Granada or Sevilla and EAP doesn't offer programs there. And so location can be another decision item for students that they use to make that decision. Or maybe they want to do a program that they don't have enough Spanish to do it through UCEAP, but they want to be in that location, so there's a program through another provider that doesn't require as much Spanish. So there are many reasons why students would choose, or the calendar perhaps. And so we do have information on our website. We call it OAP, it's Opportunities Abroad Program. And you can find information and links to our affiliate program providers on our website on studyabroad.ucsd.edu. You can take, if you find another program, then you can connect with us. You still work with our office, as it says there in the top box on the left. To receive academic credit, students can receive credit for these programs. That you can use financial aid for them as well. And so we will help with all that. We will help with the connection between the provider program and UC San Diego. So it just requires a little more independent research on your part to find program, but then the process would be done through us, just the same as it is for UC EAP, the academic planning, the same as it is for EAP for global seminars or anything else. So it just gives students more options, which is really helpful. Come on, slides. There we go. So next steps, what can you do now? Looking at the bottom left, if you've not, first of all, I would say if you have not done or get started either the online course or gone to a get started session, please do that before you move forward with anything else, because it's going to give you again an overview of the program options in general, as well as some other information about the process. If you have questions about any of this, anything we talked about today, you can message us in virtual advising, obviously at any time. If you haven't come to our drop-in Zoom advising, this is the schedule. It's also on our website, but we do meet with students over Zoom to answer questions, and so that's again another recommendation. If your situation becomes a little more complicated, then we can choose to schedule a separate meeting time with you, or if these times do not work for you, you can post a message for us in VAC. What I will let you know right now is we're extremely short-staffed. We're trying to get a temporary person hired within the next week or two. And so we may not be able to schedule many individual appointments for students until heading into November, until we get staffed up a little bit more. So this is a unique situation that we didn't expect. And so we're trying to recover from that and still maintain the services to all of you. So, so please bear that in mind as you're working with us. You'll certainly have the information you need before those applications open, the AP ones on November or in early November, including the global seminars. So then at some point you'll be talking to your academic advisors. As I might have mentioned earlier, that planning in the form usually doesn't happen until winter or spring quarters, if you're looking at going abroad next summer or fall. Some departments, if you post a message for them in VAC, or if they have drop-in advising, they'll tell you, they'll look at courses and they'll say, sure, this looks like it would work for requirements. And others will say, no, where's your academic planning form? We can't do that for you right now. So it really is up to your individual major department. It's up to your college, how they want to handle that right now. But just be aware that you will be talking to them. You will be getting their feedback at some point about the courses. Again, we encourage you to spend a little bit of time on the websites, reviewing the programs yourself for the best fit, looking at all the details that are listed here. And as Rachel mentioned, spending some time on those academics pages in UCEAP, and it can be complicated, but at least if you've done a little bit of research and looked at it, then if you meet with one of us, it can be easier for us to help you. When it's time, talk to Eduardo in financial aid. And as I said, he will do an estimate for you. Right now, he's working with students who are going on winter spring programs. And so, probably will be another few weeks before he can begin to do estimates for next summer and fall. But you can reach out to him. At the very least, I would say go to one of the sessions he's running. And all of our sessions are recorded and are posted to our website. So if you're not able to attend the session live, then definitely take a look at the recording. And then lastly, apply. There's no application fee. EAP does not charge an application fee to apply. There is a fee for global seminars, an administrative fee. There can be fees for outside provider programs. We charge students $100 in the study abroad office when you actually submit an application in Tritons Abroad, and that's just once in your UCSD career that you're charged that fee, and that just helps us keep the staffing that we need. So if you were to apply to an EAP program, say for next summer, and then for whatever reason you couldn't go, and so you decided, well, I'll do fall instead, or I'll do summer 2026 instead, we're not going to charge you the second time. If you've already paid it this summer, you're done. But just know if you applied to an EAP program, you would pay the $100. And if you applied to a Global Seminars, you'd need to pay that administrative fee to them. So, but UCAP itself does not charge students to apply to programs. So just, and I tell students, if you can afford the $100 and you would get that back in your financial aid, if you're a financial aid recipient, then, go ahead and apply. There will be withdrawal deadline for UCAP later on down the line. And as long as you withdraw before that date, they would not charge you anything. So when you look at the EAP application, it clearly tells you what those withdrawal deadlines are. So you'll know basically what you are, what date you're dealing with. In general terms, I would say it's April 1 for summer programs and May 1 for fall, but there can be some differences depending on the program. So you do want to look at that when you're in the application. And I think we are at questions at this point. If I could get the slide to move. Yes, we are. So, okay, Rachel, what did you find in the chat?
All right, so there is a question here that asks, does tuition carry to study abroad, or is cost extra or individual?
I'm not sure I understand that. If you do a UCAP program, you're paying your UC tuition to UCAP, not to UC San Diego. So you're not paying in both locations at the same time, if that's sort of what the question is. One thing to know is if you are doing a UCAP program that's a semester-long program, most of the fall programs are, right, Rachel?
Yep.
Semester, you'll be paying a semester's worth of tuition, not a quarter. So that's actually, this is good, this came up. So most of our students will study abroad in summer or fall, and they choose fall because you're only missing one quarter here. But that fall is going to be a semester, and so it's longer than here, usually 16 to 18 weeks. So you're earning, half a year's worth of credit. You'll earn a semester's worth of credit, not a quarter's worth. So you have to pay for that. So it's a semester or half a year's worth of tuition, not a quarter. So fall most likely will be more expensive for most of you, regardless of where you decide to study on EAP. There's only, I can think of just a couple fall quarter programs, but they really don't exist because most of the rest of the world is on semesters. So I hope that answered the question. In summer, there, it's the tuition is determined by units, and that's the same as it is here. And I should have said earlier on, if any of you are non-California residents or international students, during the academic year, you would also have to pay the non-California tuition on top of the EAP fees. But in summer, everybody pays the same. There's no non-California resident tuition in summer. So those costs are the same. So I hope that answered the question. If not, you can post a follow-up in chat or unmute and ask us.
Perfect. All right, next question. How much would be expected to be paid out of pocket considering low income financial aid is provided?
When you look at using UCAP as the example, when you look at the UCAP budgets, they are broken out into expenses that are paid to UCAP and expenses that you're paying out of pocket, which is usually your airfare, your airline ticket. If there's any, like a passport, if you need to get a passport, any visa fees, any pre-departure fees, immunizations, you might need those kinds of things. And so EAP has those broken out. And so you can see those as to what you're paying to them and what you're paying out of pocket. But I almost feel like you're asking what might financial aid cover and not cover. And that's something you won't know until you get your aid estimate from Eduardo, and then ultimately your financial aid package. So again, expenses for everything to do the program, including airfare, including visas and immunizations and all those things I just mentioned, are included in the EAP budget, and therefore they are included in your financial aid package. So you'll get money for them. It might be loans. So again, it goes back to that issue of what is included in a financial aid package. It's grants and loans, depending on your eligibility. So I hope that helps answer that question if I understood it correctly. And so some of those expenses any student would need to pay ahead of time, like you're going to need to pay out of pocket for your plane ticket. You may not get your financial aid then dispersed to you until maybe 4 to 6 weeks later. So yes, there will be some expenses that you'll need to be able to cover before you then get reimbursed for them.
Great. All right, next question. What are the time frames for each term? Also, which would be less conflictive with our quarter system here at UCSD? If you don't mind, I might take the first half of that
I was going to
question.
say, you go ahead and
Okay.
say, you can take that one.
Okay, so Kim actually answered part of this when she was talking about the fall semesters. So Spanish universities are on the semester system. So the fall semester is usually end of August, early September through late December. And the thing, if you're only abroad for the fall semester, just know that the actual Spanish semester actually continues into January with final exams after the winter holidays. But we, UCEAP, have a special arrangement with all of the universities we work with where UCEAP students can take their final exams in December. So you don't have to miss the start of winter quarter at UCSD. So that's fall semester. Spring semester usually begins in January, middle of January, early January, somewhere like that. And depending on the type of courses you're taking, can continue through to June, anywhere from early to mid-June. So you would be away from UCSD for 2 quarters. So just keep this in mind as you're planning your academic um, plans for the year, that you would need to ensure that you're staying on progress towards your degree, because there will be, a certain number of units that UCEAP will require you to take, but you might want to take more than that just to ensure that you're taking enough courses or units for winter and spring quarter, or perhaps you plan on taking more units in, say, fall quarter before you go abroad, or fall quarter when you get back, something like that. So that's fall and spring semester. And in terms of the time frame for UCEAP summer, the programs will start in mid to late June and continue to end of July. Basically, there's nothing happening in Spain in August. All of the universities are closed for vacation.
Mhm.
All
Thanks,
right.
Rachel.
Yep.
No,
The
I was
second
gonna
half of the, go ahead.
No, I was going to add, it's a good point. It can be more cost effective for students to study abroad in spring semester. And that's because it's actually, those budgets are actually cheaper than being here for 2 quarters. So it's just something to think about. Again, most of our students choose fall, even though it's more expensive, because they want to be here for winter and spring. But if you're ahead in your course requirements and you have some flexibility, I encourage you to look at spring because it definitely can be cheaper than 2 quarters here. So that is that is another way to sort of look at it and think about the financial planning for that.
Great point, Kim. All right, the next question. What university is the business in Barcelona? Is it still the University of Barcelona? That's a great question. So with that program, we're actually working with an academic company in Barcelona. It's called Expanish. They offer coursework to visiting international students. So it's not actually a university in Spain, but they hire local instructors. Their campus is located, it's very small, it's a single building campus, is located in like right in downtown Barcelona. It's a beautiful building in a quiet neighborhood, but still centrally located. So not affiliated with a university in Barcelona, however. All right. Would I count as a sophomore by summer next year if I am a starting freshman this year? I
Uh, I can't talk. So sophomore standing is 45 units, completion of 45. And so if you have 45 units, if you came in with, AP credit, all that, how it should be okay. I don't know, Rachel, if there are any programs that require like 2 years of university level coursework as opposed to, or 1 full year, as opposed to just having the units for class.
Yeah.
There's a difference. Yeah.
Yeah, there are some, but that would be indicated in the eligibility requirements on the program webpage on the UCEAP website. So definitely read the eligibility requirements carefully, but if it says sophomore and above and you're not seeing any other details about what sophomore means, that means if you complete, like Kim said, 45 units by the time summer begins,
Right.
then you are a sophomore and eligible. All right. where can the recording be found for all info session?
That's a good question. So there is a section, I believe it's the information sessions page on our website. They're uploading these recordings to that location. But it'll probably be next week before this one is uploaded, but you should be able to find it there under
Perfect.
information sessions. Yeah, and if you can't, then message us in back or let us know.
Related to that, the next question is, will we have access to the slides and hyperlinks on the slides?
That's a good question. I'll have to follow up on that. I'm not sure.
All right. And
I
then it
don't know
looks
if
like,
we've been posting, sorry, I don't know if we've been posting the slides separately, but I get that. I get that. I'll find out.
all right. Final question. When will we know our financial aid packages if we are planning for a fall program?
12/25. Um, trying to remember when. So Eduardo will be able to give you an estimate sometime in the spring, but it's usually not. So the problem is that, and they're going to try to work on this for next year, but for right now, the financial aid office has to wait for the computer to do like all of the financial aid packages for all UCSD students for fall first. And then Eduardo has to go in and pull all of the aid packages for all of you that are going abroad and separate them out. And then he has to redo them manually for EAP if you're doing the EAP. So the problem is that if he could just go in and grab them before their run for UCSD and just do them, you could have them earlier. But that's not the way it's been working the last couple of years. So it's been August. I think students have gotten packages after they're already in Spain. So it's been late. Again, I don't know that that's what it will be for next year because there's been talk about them trying to change that process. And so that's something maybe when you meet with him, or you can post a message in back and we'll forward that to him. He'll answer that, but that we may not know that until like, winter quarter or something like that. So that's a really good question. Thank you for asking it.
All right. That's all the questions we have in the chat. If
Great.
anybody has any last minute questions, please drop them in quickly, but we have reached the end.
Thank you so much, Rachel. I appreciate you doing the chat.
You
That
are
was
welcome.
super helpful. Didn't ask you that in advance, so I apologize.
No worries.
But we appreciate all of you staying with us. We hope that this was super helpful. Again, huge thanks to you, Rachel. And you all will see if you apply to UCAP, Rachel sends the most amazing detailed messages to students with resources about, academic resources. And I've just been really impressed. So thank you for all that you're doing for students. And so it's been amazing. So you will get help and support along the way, as I mentioned before, from us here on campus and from UCEAP every step along the process. So you're not doing this alone. So thank you all for joining us today. And thanks again, Rachel and Samantha.
Thank you, Kim. Thank you, everyone.
For joining us. All right. Bye. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Kim.
That
Appreciate
was fun.
it.
Thank you. I appreciate
That was
it.
fun.
I sort of feel like trying out this new model,
Yeah.
And I was saying to Rachel Agoli, I don't know if you connect with Rachel, because I thought maybe she would join us for summer, but sorry, of course, I had a tickle in my throat.
No, that's always my fear, is that I get a coughing attack right in the middle of a presentation.
Is that, I think it'd be great if you guys are staffed up to a point to where you all can do these, and to have, like you and Monica and whoever you want, and then I'm blanking now on, well, your academics, but anyway, but the whole team basically for Spain, like on a panel, and you guys are doing this, what we've done today, basically, and then we can do our own things on the campuses to sort of fill in the campus pieces, right? But to you guys as the experts, because, I can't speak to all of those academic differences, and especially because I just stepped in and took Spain from Alicia in spring,
Right.
Yeah, and so I think, moving forward, it would be great. So this was, I think, a good experiment. And then I did the UKI the other day, I think I told you, and Megan joined me. Megan, for a few minutes, and again, all of those little details and intricacies with all of the UK summer programs. I just took it over last year, and I was like a basket case trying to figure all that out. And she was super helpful. So I think that was, again, really helpful for the students. And I think just listening to you today was, again, really helpful and more information than I could offer them. So yeah, I just think it's just a model to think about moving forward if you guys have the bandwidth to do it now with the new
Yeah,
structure.
I think we are reaching that point now that we have,
Good.
all of the program specialists, academic specialists on board, and especially the study abroad advisors. We saw Samantha here.
Right.
So I love that suggestion.
Okay,
And
great.
because Kim, you're the CAD at UCSC, yeah?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so I feel like this is something that you can also suggest if you're in meetings with them, and I'll bring it up to the global programs team
Great.
as an
Okay,
idea. So we'll come at
great.
them from both sides. So
Yeah,
that's
no,
great.
I was gonna raise it with Kat, and I wanted to see sort of how these went this time. Um,
Hmm.
and we obviously asked because we're so short staffed with Rachel's departure. Well, and we were dire before that, and then that didn't help. But
Hmm.
and I'm very happy for her. So no hard feelings. But ask Noah, like, can we ask people to help us, because this would be, and so this is a huge help, but I also think
Hmm.
it's a really great experiment. And in terms of moving forward, so I'm really happy to hear you say
Yeah.
that you like the idea and you think others might be interested. And so yes, I was waiting to see how these went, and then I can raise it like on the November CAD call and just say, look, what we've been doing this, thanks to UCAP for helping us in our current staffing situation. But is this something that everybody would be interested? Maybe a year from now, but uh,
Yeah,
yeah. So I will do that.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah. And I was happy to join because I know how complicated even just like programs in Spain are. And I know you're covering way more than Spain right now. So like trying to remember all of that is crazy. So
Yeah. Yeah.
um happy to talk about Spain. And I really appreciate you talking about my detailed emails because
Oh my gosh, they're
I
fantastic.
okay.
No, really, like when I started seeing those in the spot, like, oh my God, this is like such amazing information. I hope students are reading them. That's the challenge, right?
Yeah,
To
yeah.
get them to read them.
In a way, I kind of did it for myself because by sending that out, when a student's like, "Hey, I have a question about XYZ," I'm like, "Student, great question. Have you read my email?" So then I can
Yeah,
just
so and I
like
saw some of
send the
those
email back.
redirects too. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. No, it's very confusing. I mean, I open those catalogs and and I mean, I studied in Spain, not but I mean, I'm like, I don't know, and then you start looking at all of the other, sort of resources too, all of the other links, and I'm, oh my God, I'm so confused. So, if
Hmm.
we don't understand it, I don't see how students can understand it at all.
Yeah.
That's why I really felt that your emails were very helpful to them.
Yeah.
I really do appreciate all of you now that you have a little more bandwidth just to field emails from students, so that we can just send them to you and say, hey, and actually, yeah, and Omar was on with me earlier in our virtual advising, and I was telling him, like, can you come at 4 o'clock? And he's like, yeah, like, okay, that'd be great, because Rachel's going to be there, and so, I mean, I think it's just, yeah, I think you've done a great job in just really trying to get information together to help students navigate what's really complicated
Yeah.
to figure
It is super complicated. And the last thing I want to see is, a student who's very, very late in the process and they say go to University of Barcelona and they're like, I'm a business major. And literally, there's very few business courses available there. And I'm like, no, okay, this is what I wanted to avoid. So,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and it's hard for them, and yeah, and so I don't know how many students we lose that they get frustrated in the process too, and trying to figure it out. And
hmm.
so we always tell them, don't get if you're frustrated, contact us. We'll try to help you
Hmm.
figure it out. But I'm sure there are some every year, and not just on the EP side, just in general or with other
Yeah.
programs too. So
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, but no, I definitely appreciate everything that you've done and that I've seen from you, and then just what you're all doing with the new restructure, and it's always just a pleasure working with all of you, and you've all been so nice to offer yourselves up to help us, and so we really appreciate it. But I really hope this is the beginning of a pilot,
Yes.
in terms of the model, and it definitely, I think it's a win-win for us and the students and you guys and just everybody. So
Hmm.
yeah,
Definitely. I mean,
awesome.
it was super easy for me this time around because Alicia put together a fantastic
Sure.
presentation. So I just had to jump in. That was great.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, you guys would have to create your own. That's true. But you could probably be slicker. But yeah, I appreciated hers, and that was just able to just update. And thank you again for understanding about the photo, because I thought
Oh
I have
yeah.
no time. If I mess this up, I'm really screwed. And so yeah, just sort of hanging on by our fingernails right now. So
Hmm. Yeah.
yeah.
And just to reiterate to you, as we get into the, um, like thick of the application cycle. If you're
Uh-huh.
getting a lot of questions from students about academics at Spain, please feel free to funnel those over to me. There's another
Okay.
academic specialist who's working with Spain summer programs. Her name is Lara. But if
Oh,
in the
okay.
moment you don't remember that Lara is around for Spain summer and you send it to me, that's okay. I can make sure she gets
Okay.
those questions.
Okay.
So
All
no
right.
problem.
That's super helpful, Rachel. Thank you so much for everything. I appreciate it. This has been a pleasure working with you, and we will definitely be in touch.
Sounds great.
All right.
Thank you so
Thanks a
much,
lot,
Kim.
Rachel. All right.
Have
Talk
a
to you
great
later.
night.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.